Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bensalem Township Council meeting. Today's date is June 17th, 2024. I want to ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silent meditation or prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight's meeting is a special meeting that we've been working on for over 2 years. It's to consider a resolution to consolidate the 6 volunteer fire companies into one fire department called the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department, and we're going to begin by having Director of Public Safety, Bill McVeigh. I'm going to have him stand at the podium for the beginning, and then afterwards, so he's going to be seated back down here. Later on, if there's any questions and such, it will be very convenient, okay? So we'll open introduction, and we have, let me introduce the staff, if I may. We have Neil Morris, our labor attorney. We have Debbie McBreen, our council executive secretary. We have to the extreme right, we have Ed Rudolph, our solicitor. We have the Honorable Mayor Joseph DiGirolamo. And we're council members here this evening. We have Stacy, oh my goodness, so she's on the phone here. We have Michelle Benitez, Joe Knowles, and I'm Ed Kisselback. If you could take the floor from here, Director McVeigh, it's all yours. I'm sorry.
Stacy.
It says do not touch, so I don't know. Stacy, are you here?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay. We have 2 of our council members who couldn't make it, and one of our council members responded that she would like to be on the phone because it's important for her to hear what's happening on this and to register her vote. And the other councilman just couldn't make it, so he's not here this evening. Okay? Now we have it. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Council President Kisselback. Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, all volunteer firefighters. And most importantly, good evening to the Bensalem Township community, because that's what this meeting's about. We're here this evening to take a vital step in a very important process to consolidate the 6 legacy fire companies into one unified volunteer fire department for Bensalem. The reason consolidation of our 6 current fire companies is necessary is a significant decrease in the number of volunteer firefighters, the inability to adequately staff each firehouse, and most importantly, the need to ensure an effective fire response to all emergencies. The main problem is decreased volunteers. In the 1970s, the estimate was 300,000 volunteers in Pennsylvania. In the early 2000s, it was down to 60,000. Today, we're under 40,000 in the state. Bensalem has followed that same decline, unfortunately. As a Department of Public Safety, our first priority is to provide life safety and protective services through our police, fire, and EMS. As such, the Department of Public Safety can never, ever risk an inconsistent life safety response to our residents and businesses. The concept of consolidation is not new to this township. It was first addressed in the late 80s as a result of an independent fire study. Then again, in 2010, when Bensalem Fire Rescue was formed. Then most recently, in 2022. But as we all know, change is never welcomed, especially when it involves a rich history of 6 legacy volunteer fire companies in this township, some with over 100 years of admirable service and tradition. Immediately upon being sworn in January of 2022 as director, I was approached by 3 leaders in the fire service from 3 separate volunteer fire companies, all with the same message. To sustain a volunteer fire service, consolidation was necessary and overdue. The message that resonated most with me was failure to not consolidate would result in a catastrophic incident involving destruction of property and, at worst case, a loss of life. Additionally, it could result in a complete failure of the fire response system due to the inability to properly staff fire trucks and delayed responses. These were not viable options for this township. Based upon these conversations, the Deputy Director and I made this a priority for the Department of Public Safety. Deputy Director Race and I immediately met with Mayor Joe DiGirolamo, his administration, and our elected officials, Bensalem Council. We honestly told them the dire situation that faced our community if we didn't have the courage to change and adapt. Thankfully, our elected officials and mayor understood the need for change, stood by us, and gave us the green light to explore the consolidation process. Following those talks, the township hired the services of Rob Brady Consulting to assist and guide the efforts. This is key. A consolidation committee was formed. It had 2 representatives from each of the 6 legacy companies, so everyone had a seat at the table. Over the past 2.5 years, there's been dozens of meetings, subcommittee meetings, town hall style meetings. These were all held so that all members of all companies could participate in this process. The key element for success of this consolidation was from the beginning and is now for all 6 legacy companies to participate, unify as one, and form this new department together. Transparency was also a very important piece of this process. Deputy Director Race and I visited every firehouse whenever requested to ensure there was open communication with the volunteers and the township. As you can imagine, this was no easy task, and it involved many roadblocks, varied opinions, and many false accusations about jeopardizing public safety in this township. I'm here to tell you, though, that because of the efforts of all of our volunteer firemen, these obstacles have been overcome. So much so, the final vote for Consolidate was an overwhelming 156 to 6 in favor to move forward with consolidation of fire services. Based on that success, the leadership from all 6 legacy companies signed a formal resolution authorizing and directing their companies to join and form the newly incorporated Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department, BVFD. There's still work to be done, and final approvals will need to be obtained from the Bucks County Court of Common Pleas and the Pennsylvania Attorney General's Office. However, tonight, a final resolution has been provided and will be read into the record by Bensalem Council. Once approved and signed, Bensalem Township will officially recognize the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department as the sole and exclusive volunteer fire company of Bensalem Township for the future. Prior to the reading of that, I would like to call Mayor Joe DiGirolamo to make some remarks.
I just want to speak for our administration, and certainly council will be able to speak for themselves, but this has been a long process. I've been here since the first time we started talking about this back in 2010, and it's been a long struggle. It's been a hard thing. All of you, I congratulate you of all the hard work that you've been doing, all of the volunteers. This couldn't be done without the volunteers all working together, and these are volunteers. So I want to make sure that people don't get that mixed up, that these are paid firemen. They're not. These are volunteers. And we're very, very fortunate here in Bensalem to have this kind of team working together, because this is what it's going to take for the future. Safety is the number one thing that we swear to. When we win an election, that is what we swear to, the safety of this community. And by doing this, I feel as though I've been with it for 2.5 years, in and out, going of all of the different problems that had to be worked out. I just feel as though that we are going in the right direction, and I want to thank you. I want to thank all the volunteers for all the hard work that you've done and that you're going to continue to do. We can't do it without you. So hopefully tonight all goes well, and we can congratulate you when the right time comes. But God bless all of you, and thank you, and God bless all of our volunteers. Thank you, guys.
And thank you, Mayor, for those words and for the support you and council have given us throughout this process over the last 2.5 years. At this time, I would ask Council President Kisselbeck to read and recognize and put into the record the prepared resolution for council's consideration and approval in the interest of public safety with the fire services. Thank you for your time.
Since this is so important, I am going to read the resolution in its entirety. After that, we're going to continue the meeting, and we're going to have discussions, and we'll be able to bring everyone up to date. If anyone has any questions, we'll be discussing that a little bit later on. And the resolution is as follows. A resolution of the Township of Bensalem, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, recognizing the many contributions of the several volunteer fire companies currently serving the township and approving the consolidation of the township's 6 existing volunteer fire companies so as to create a new unified volunteer fire company to be known as the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department, and to be designated as the sole and exclusive volunteer fire company serving and recognized by the township. Whereas, for more than a century, the brave and devoted volunteers and members of the Cornwallis Fire Company, the Eddington Fire Company, the Newport Fire Company, the Nottingham Fire Company, the Trevose Fire Company, and the Union Fire Company, collectively known as the Legacy Companies, have provided volunteer fire services to the Township of Bensalem and its grateful citizens and businesses. And whereas the Township recognizes and appreciates the significant contribution that the Legacy Companies have provided to the Township throughout that time, and whereas both the Township and the Legacy Companies recognize the challenges and the Legacy Companies and volunteer fire services in general continue to face providing adequate and efficient firefighting and emergency service to the township, its citizens, and businesses. And whereas, in an effort to confront and overcome the aforementioned challenges and to continue and to enhance the volunteer fire emergency services provided to the township by the volunteers and members of the Legacy Companies, the following nearly 2 years of discussions, meetings, research, and deliberations among and between the members of the Legacy Companies, working together with and in cooperation with various officials and representatives of the township, the Legacy Companies have unanimously voted and agreed to consolidate all of the Legacy Companies as to create and form a single unified volunteer fire company to be known as the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department, to serve the township and its citizens and businesses. Whereas the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department has been incorporated by the Legacy Companies as a separate business and corporate entity of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, governed by its own charter, bylaws, directors, and leadership, and like the Legacy Companies before it, the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department is a volunteer fire company independent of the township that will work together with the township to provide fire protection with the township for the health, safety, and welfare of the township in accordance with the various provisions of the Pennsylvania Second-Class Township Code and the Code of the Township of Bensalem relating to and pertaining to fire companies, fire prevention and protection, and public safety. And whereas by ordinance of the township, the Legacy Companies are currently the only volunteer fire companies formally recognized and financially supported by the township, and whereas having received formal notification from the Legacy Companies of their desire and decision to disband the existing Legacy Companies as volunteer fire companies serving the township and to create and form in their place a single unified volunteer fire company to serve the entirety of the township of Bensalem. The following public presentation of the same to the township council and to the citizens and taxpayer of the township at a public advertised meeting of the township council held on this date. It is the intention of the township council through this resolution to concur with the otherwise support and proposed consolidation of the legacy companies and the creation and formation of a single unified volunteer fire company. In their place, such newly created volunteer fire company is to be known as the Bensalem Fire Department. Volunteer, the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. Such newly created Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department is to be designated as the sole and exclusive volunteer fire company serving, recognized by, and supported by the Township of Bensalem. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Council of the Township of Bensalem, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, hereby adopts this resolution in recognition of the concurrence with and support of the consolidation of the Cornwallis Fire Company, the Eddington Fire Company, the Newport Fire Company, the Nottingham Fire Company, the Trevose Fire Company, and the Union Fire Company, so as to create and form a single unified volunteer fire company to be known as the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. It is hereby further resolved that as the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department has been incorporated by the legacy companies as a volunteer fire company that is a separate business and corporate entity of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, independent of the township, governed by its own charter, bylaws, directors, and leadership, and like the legacy company before it, it will work together with the township to provide fire protection within the township for the health, safety, and welfare of the township in accordance with various provisions of the Pennsylvania Second Class Code and the Code of the Township of Bensalem relating to and pertaining to fire companies, fire prevention, and the protection and public safety. Such newly created Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department shall be and is hereby designated as the sole and exclusive volunteer fire company serving, recognized by, and supported by the Township of Bensalem, effective this date, June 18th, 2024. This is the final paragraph. It is hereby further resolved that the mayor and the director of administration, the director of public safety, and the township solicitor are hereby authorized to prepare, execute, and/or file on behalf of the township and any other documents necessary to effectuate the intent of the purpose of this resolution and to prepare and advertise for, I lost my last page. Okay. For consideration, adoption by council, any and all ordinances necessary to effectuate the intent and purpose of this resolution, resolved this 17th day of June, 2024. Now, I think I should get an applause for reading that whole thing. I missed the last page. All right, at this time, we're going to agenda item number 5, which is William Mc... I'm sorry.
So you're going to ask for a motion.
You said what?
You should ask for a motion on 4.
Well, I'm not ready to ask for a motion yet.
Or are we supposed to do 4?
No, I want to get some questions from people before, even though it's not necessary, this being a resolution and not an ordinance, I want to get some input from anyone who would like to come up and make any comments in a positive way. What?
We didn't make a motion yet.
We didn't. Yeah, I didn't put the motion on the floor. For everyone concerned up here, I did not put a motion on the floor. I'm going to ask for public comment from anyone who would like to make comment on the proposed resolution as I just read. Would anyone like to come forward and add to where we are at this time? Okay, I'm going to close that part of public comment, and at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to be put on the floor to accept the resolution as read this evening.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consideration of resolution approving the consolidation of the township's 6 existing volunteer fire companies so as to create a new unified Volunteer Fire Company to be known as the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department and to be designated as a sole and exclusive volunteer fire company serving and recognized by the township.
All right, so I have a motion on the floor.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second on the motion. We also have Stacy Champion on phone here, so I'm going to ask for a roll call vote, and I'm going to start with Michelle Benitez.
Aye.
She votes aye. I'm going to go with Joe Knowles.
Aye.
Votes aye. Stacy Champion.
Aye. Stacy Champion, I vote aye.
And Stacy votes aye, as well as I vote aye, so that's a 4-0 unanimous decision on this resolution. Stacy, if you want to add something at any point, just let me know, okay?
I just want to make a comment at the end, but yeah, whenever.
Okay,
you know.
at the end, then okay, that would be the appropriate time. All right, now we're going to move on to agenda item number 5, and this is William McVeigh, Director of Public Safety, Bob Race, Deputy Director of Public Safety, to introduce the executive board members and chief officers of the newly formed Bensalem Fire Department.
You can now say it officially. Thank you, council. We appreciate that. Before we call up the new board, I think it's very important that I recognize and introduce our Deputy Director, Bob Race. He's played a critical role in this process. He's been a 30-year volunteer fireman, and this wouldn't have got done without his leadership. I'd also like to introduce, if you could stand up, Chief, Mark Antizeski. As part of this process, our steering committee felt it necessary that we hire a first-time ever career fire chief. We launched a national search. We got Mark. He's doing a fantastic job, and he will be the main liaison with the new leadership of the new independent volunteer fire department. So Mark will be a huge part of fire services at Bensalem moving forward. So thank you for being here tonight, Mark. And at this time, I'll call the Deputy Director up to introduce you to your new leadership.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I've been given the task to introduce the new officers of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. I'm going to start off, as I read your name, if you could stand up front, I'll read your bio, and then the judge will swear you all in to your new positions. First, I have Andrew Hazlett. Andrew has been elected the president of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. Andrew was born and raised in Bensalem Township and has been a member of the Newport Fire Company since October of 1999. During his time with Newport, he has worked his way through both administrative and operational ranks, most recently holding the position of Assistant Chief and President. Mr. Hazlett is the Director of Quality Assurance for an engineering firm that provides specialized products and technical services to the U.S. government, commercial market, and academia. Next, I have Tom Markert. He's been elected the Vice President of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. Tom Markert has been a member of the Eddington Fire Company since September of 1986. Over the years, he's held many leadership positions, both administrative and operational. Tom is a mechanical engineer by training. He started his own successful manufacturing company in 1993 that now employs a staff of 47 that are based in 4 countries. His twin sons, Jacob and Chris, are also both very active firefighters within the township service. Next is Tom Tennyson. He was elected secretary of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. Tom joined the Cornwallis Fire Company in June of 2022. He has participated in numerous administrative projects, some of which have included training manuals and inventory. Tom is a graduate of the Wharton School of Business and is employed as a process improvement manager. Next, we have the treasurer, Larry Ackerman. Larry has been a member of the Trevose Fire Company and the Cornwallis Fire Company since September of 2003. In that span, he has held several leadership positions, including that of fire chief and trustee. Larry is a paramedic with several local organizations within Bucks County since 2012 and currently serves as a career fire lieutenant for the city of Philadelphia. Next, we have Marty Joyce. Marty Joyce is the head trustee. Marty Joyce has been a member of the Trevose Fire Company since June of 1978. He has over 30 years as a chief fire officer with 3 years as fire chief of Trevose Fire Company. He also has served in several administrative positions and is currently the president of Trevose Fire Company. He has been employed by the Montgomery County Fire Academy since 2013 as their hazmat training coordinator, and he also teaches hazardous material training, fire officer training, incident command related classes for the Bucks County Community College for the past 30 years. He teaches fire, police, and military personnel locally and internationally for the community college. And he is also a publisher, a writer, and a content creator of numerous training curriculums within the fire service. Next is Nicholas Altamore. Nick was elected the body delegate of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. Nicholas Altamore was born and raised in Bensalem Township. He's been a member of the Newport Fire Company since November of 2001. Over the years, he served many operational leadership positions within that company. In 2013, he became a member of the Nottingham Fire Department, and he is currently employed by the Bensalem Fire Rescue since 2010, where he holds the rank of lieutenant. Council, Mayor, that is our administrative board for the new organization. I ask Judge Gallagher come up to swear the members in.
Do solemnly swear. That I will uphold the Constitution. And bylaws. Of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Company. I further promise. And swear. That I will do the best of my ability. Perform the duties. Of the office. To which I have been elected or appointed. I will preserve and maintain all property and subjects to my care and will turn over same to my successor at the termination of my office. So help me God. Lower your hands. And now on your declared to be installed the office which has been elected and appointed. Ladies and gentlemen, the office of the volunteer Bensalem Fire.
Nick, congratulations, man.
Hey, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Marty, there you go, man.
George, congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Gentlemen, before you leave tonight, just make sure you sign those oaths. I'll have them up front here. Mayor, Council, now I have the privilege of introducing you to the operational chiefs of this new organization. These chiefs were selected by the organization from many viable candidates who had submitted resumes and their training to the organization for consideration in filling the roles that the following members have been assigned to. First is Deputy Chief Ron Harris. Ron Harris was born and raised in Bensalem Township, where he started in the fire service with the Nottingham Fire Department in February of 1981. Ron has held several officer positions within the fire department. In 1998, Ron was elected chief, which he has held for the past 27 years. During his tenure, he was chairman of the building committee for the construction of the Bensalem Township training facility. Ron was also instrumental in helping and working with the director of public safety at the time, Fred Harron, on the need to start the career staff in the Bensalem Fire Rescue. Ron worked for the County of Bucks for 35 years as a boiler engineer and retired in 2022. Ron also worked for the Bensalem Fire Marshal's Office and Bensalem Fire Rescue since January of 2005 as a firefighter, fire inspector, and will be retiring at the end of this month, 2024. Next is James McDonough, First Assistant Chief. James McDonough has been a member of the Newport Fire Company for 33 years. During his time served, he has held every operational position, including his current position as chief. He has also worked for Bensalem Fire Rescue for the last 22 years. He is currently employed as a career firefighter with the Department of Defense, where he's worked for 21 years. Next is Scott Rhodes, Second Assistant Chief. Scott Rhodes was born and raised in Bensalem. He's been dedicated to the fire service since 2006. In 2012, he advanced to a career fireman, demonstrating his commitment and expertise in the field. Scott has held multiple positions within the Cornwallis Fire Company and currently serves as both the president and deputy chief of Cornwallis. Coming from a proud lineage of firefighters, Scott follows in the footsteps of his grandfather, his father, and uncle, who are all lifetime members of the Cornwallis Fire Company. His dedication and leadership continue to uphold the family's legacy within the fire service. Next is Dave Neal, Third Assistant Chief. Dave Neal III has been a member of the Eddington Fire Company since December of 1994. During his time served, he has held numerous operational positions, including that of fire chief for 5 years. He's also a career firefighter for almost 24 years, where he holds the position of battalion chief at Joint Base Fort Dix Fire Department. David also has been married to his wife, Kathy, for almost 20 years and has 2 boys, David the Fourth and Jackson. David the Fourth is currently serving as a cadet firefighter within the Eddington Fire Company. Judge Gallagher, I ask you to come forward and provide the oath of office to these gentlemen.
I do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution and bylaws of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Company. I further promise and swear that I will do the best of my ability to perform the duties of the office to which I have been appointed or elected. I will preserve and maintain all properties entrusted to my care and will turn over same to my successor at the termination of my office. So help me God. And now, under authority granted me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I now declare installed the officer who has been elected or appointed. Ladies and gentlemen, the officers of Bensalem Volunteer Fire Company.
Congratulations.
Again, congratulations, everyone, and another big round of applause. Bensalem just got safer tonight. And just once again, thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council, thank you all our hardworking volunteers for what you've done the last 2.5 years And Anne Marie, please stand up. My assistant, she's been at every meeting, taking the notes so we can get it to council and keep them informed. Thank you very much. That's all I have, Councilman.
All right, thank you, Director. We're going on to agenda item number 7, which is the President of the Bensalem Fire Department, Andrew Hazlitt, would like to make a statement. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is.
Good evening, Mayor, Council President, and council members. As you're aware, my name is Andrew Hazlitt, a firefighter in the township for 25 years and the newly elected president of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Department. I'm joined here today by the dedicated men and women who proudly serve this township, providing fire and emergency services. The volunteer fire service has deep roots within our township, dating back to 1915 with the founding of the first fire company. And over many decades, additional fire companies have been formed throughout our community, bringing the total number to 6. Despite each of the 6 fire companies being independent from one another, they have all shared a common purpose: to save lives and protect property for the residents and businesses of Bensalem Township. Fast forward to today, and that common purpose still stands true for each of the legacy fire companies. However, over the years, the volunteer fire companies have collectively experienced a decline in the most critical piece of their infrastructure, and that is the personnel. As emergency responders, we have all faced challenging situations, yet the decline of personnel within each of our organizations has certainly been our biggest challenge to overcome. In the face of reduced membership, and our leadership, with support from our members, made the decision that a consolidation was necessary to continue to ensure adequate fire and emergency response within the township to better serve the needs of the Bensalem community. This has been a long and arduous process that has spanned more than 2 years, and I'm going to echo a word that Mayor Joe, it's a favorite word of Mayor Joe's, through teamwork and an allegiance to the success of the BVFD. These men and women stand before you as one united group, ready to continue serving Bensalem Township. On behalf of the officers and members of the BVFD, we would like to publicly thank Public Safety Director Bill McVeigh, Deputy Director Bob Race, Administrative Assistant Anne Marie Walsh, Mayor Joseph DiGirolamo, Bensalem Council and Administration, Fire Chief Mark Antozeski, and Rob Brady and his team from Rob Consulting LLC. The working relationship with township officials and political support were key factors in the success of this consolidation process. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 8 is public comment. If anyone would like to add to this evening in terms of making a statement, you're certainly welcome to come up. You can tell none of you guys are politicians. Just dedicated to the township. That's wonderful. Okay, well then we're going to close the public comment part of it, and we're going to go on to other business for supporting personnel, and we're going to start with, I guess, Director McVeigh, you want to say anything?
I think I've said enough tonight. Just
All right,
thank you
okay.
again, and I look forward to the future, being safer in Bensalem.
All right, we have Neil Morris with us today. Neil, would you like to add anything this evening? Okay. Nothing to say. All right, thank you. That's from an attorney.
Wow, that's
Okay. Debbie, would you like to add anything? Okay, nothing. And moving to my extreme right, we have our solicitor, Edward.
I just want to share the pride that people here have in what happened tonight. It's a lot of hard work tonight.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed what happened.
Thank you. And that's Ed Rudolph, our solicitor. And then we have the Honorable Mayor Joseph DiGirolamo. Joe?
Well, I certainly want to now congratulate you. I was trying to be premature, but God bless you guys and all the volunteers. I don't know what the heck to say. I go way back with all of you. I know, what'd you say, 1915? I wasn't quite there, but I was close. So it's an incredible thing that we're doing here tonight. This is change, and it doesn't come easy, and it hasn't been easy. But you guys and gals all working together has made this work. I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of Bensalem and so proud of all of fire volunteers of what you've done through the years, and you're going to continue to do. And I think that's important that people know. This is volunteers we're talking about here. We're talking about people who continue to keep us safe in Bensalem. And we can't say enough to all of you and your families. All of your families. Fire goes off, you guys go out, your family's there, and they're praying that you come home. So it's so important to us that this happened the way it did. It's a team effort. We won. It's going to be together. And I look forward to working with everybody. I really do, guys. God bless you. You saved so many lives, and you'll continue to. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're going to go to Michelle Benitez.
Well, as usual, we're a community of firsts, and it's because we have people like you that are so dedicated to making sure that our community is safe. I'm happy to work with all of you. I'm grateful for all that you do. I'm just really proud. It's a very proud moment for us all. I'm happy to be a part of it. And I think the mayor said it really the best, so just thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And Joe Knowles, Councilman?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I just want to reemphasize that even these men who were sworn this evening, they're volunteers, so they're still volunteers, okay? So we appreciate your volunteering and continuing to step up for our community. It's been a long 2 years. We took a lot of phone calls, okay? And a lot of times I learned, I don't know the answer to that, let me check and I'll find out, okay? So then I would call Bob Race or I'd call Bill McVeigh and they would explain to me what's going on a little further and I'd be able to give them a half-educated answer. But I understand why it was so difficult because of the lineage of each of these 6 fire stations. And the people had pride, people's families, people's uncles, people's fathers. My grandfather was on the first fire truck that had a motor engine in 1924. And there's a picture of it in the Bensalem history book, and it's hanging in the Cornwallis Fire Company. So before that, they were pulling horses, you know? So a lot of people were like involved with an individual fire company, you know, for decades, and their families, their uncles, their fathers, and now their daughters and their sisters. So I understand it was difficult, but we were able to do the right thing for our community. And I appreciate the leadership of the individual fire companies and of our public safety director and his deputy Bob Race for getting this done. And I think we took the time to do it right. And I think it's going to be very successful. So congratulations and thank you for your service.
Okay, and I have Stacy Champion on the phone. Stacy, I don't. Hopefully we'll be able to hear you, but would you like to make comments, please?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How about anyone else? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So first of all, thank you all for all of the hard work that you all have done over the last 2 years. It took such great teamwork, as the mayor loves to say, and we all love to say, because we would not have the amazing township we have without all the people who are willing to roll up their sleeves and discuss and find the best solution for everybody, most importantly, our residents, including ourselves, because this is not just, this is for all of us. And you guys do such an amazing job, and I personally am very thankful for everything over the years that I've seen you guys do. And I'm looking forward to this next chapter for all of our 6 companies coming to one. As Joe had said, his grandfather was long into it, and my grandfather was part of Eddington, and my father. And I understand and am so thankful for every one of you putting your life on the line, going away from your family at night, and doing what you have to do to help our residents, our visitors, and the people that just pass through. So thank you for everything you all do. And I'm looking forward to the future of the Bensalem Volunteer Fire Company.
All right, thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, and I'll add the final comments, if I may, that although we talk about this being a 2-year process, it was in reality discussed up here with the mayor and council for over 10 years. And every time I came across someone, either a volunteer or someone who knew we were trying to attempt this, the comment they made is, well, good luck herding cats, because it's not going to be easy. But I found that to be quite the opposite. When we really determined the process of what we wanted to go by and the reason for doing that, which was saving lives and saving property of the residents of Bensalem, everyone individually of each fire company knew the right thing to do would be to make us stronger by making us one. And although we kind of, I'm not going to say take credit, but we feel that we're all part of what's happening. The reality is, you, the individual firefighters, are the ones that are making this happen and are going to make it, continue to make it happen, and make Bensalem the best that it's ever been. So we really greatly appreciate all of the directors and the fire chiefs and all the volunteers for everything that you're doing, because I know it wasn't an easy decision, but it was a required necessity for the life of Bensalem and for the safety of all of our residents. So for that, I just say thank you so much. God bless all of you and your families, and I think we'll just have a future that's just going to be moving on from this point. So thank you very much. Thank you. Sure, and we have the mayor? Go ahead, sure.
I just want to mention our director, Bill McVeigh, and Deputy Bob Race, of the many times in my office after meetings, they come in and tell me, and everybody, you know, and what we went through with it was incredible. This was no easy task, as all of you know, but Director and Deputy Director, thank you for all your hard work.
Can I add something?
Sure.
I just want to add that I also serve on the Bucks County Association of Township Officials. And I'd like to thank Deputy Director Race for presenting in our recent event regarding this exact topic. And I want you to know, I really mean it when we're a township of first and we set the tone. The leadership here is not like any other. We get things done. We've gotten several phone calls since our Bocado meeting regarding how we're moving forward with our plans here in Bensalem, and it is because of you and the leadership here. So thank you, Director McVeigh, Deputy Director Reese, and everybody that's been involved in this process once again. It's so important, and you're leading the way for the county. But in addition to that, the state, because they're involved in some of these conversations as well and really interested in what's happening here. So thank you.
Anyone else? All right, not hearing any other comments, I'm going to close the meeting, and this meeting is now officially adjourned.